Hi guys, video game viewer here doing top 10 games from my childhood. With me today to add some commentaries, Mad Gamer Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
And yeah, we're just doing top 10 games from my childhood. Obviously, before we start here, I want to let everybody know not every game that you see on this list is going to match up to your perfect top 10 list. If you want, you can leave your top 10 list in the comments below, and I'll be sure to take a look at it. So without further ado, let's get started here. At number 10 is Star Fox for the Nintendo 64. This game I spent countless hours in front of my television playing. My favorite level is probably the one that you're seeing right now, which is Katina. Your favorite level?
My favorite level was the one where you had to chase down the train and destroy it before it reached the base.
Definitely a really cool level as well. The characters in the game are super interesting. The levels were all super interesting, and that's why this game definitely makes my top 10 spot.
Except for Slippy. She sucks.
Yeah, Slippy definitely sucks. Moving on to number 9 is going to be Pokemon Red for the Game Boy. Pokemon was super popular back when I picked this game up. Obviously, I was a lot younger. I don't think you played this game.
Just a card game a few times, but video games, except for Pokemon Snap, I played that one though.
I spent so much time playing this game. I was addicted to it. It went everywhere I went, and it has to make my number 9 spot just for the amount of time I put into this game. Definitely one of the better earlier RPGs for the Game Boy. Coming in at number 8 is going to be Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. I think what stood out for this game back in the day when I first got this game is what stood out in my mind to make it great is definitely the graphics were excellent for the Super Nintendo.
Also, the enemy types were really fun to go against, and also the level design always kept you guessing up until the last moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great side-scrolling platformer that stood up well in a market saturated with Mario at that time, and that's why it's making number 8.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Moving on to number 7, we have Mario Kart for the Nintendo 64. This game was super competitive. I absolutely loved it. Get the friends together, see who's better at the game. It really got heated. A lot of time was spent racing my friends and just getting, well, pretty much owning them on the race course.
I also liked being that it was just a great racing game with 4 people in general. You didn't really see that back then. I know Diddy Kong Racing had a game, but it just didn't match up to this.
Yeah, and this game was just one of the Nintendo 64 classics, and it had to make this list. Moving on to number 6, we have Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Super NES. What made this game stand out for me is this is when I really got into video games. The original Mario was good, but I was a little too young. I was only like 5 when that came out. I wasn't very good at it, and this is what pulled me into video games the most. This is my first real major game. And what made it stand out in my mind are the super awesome power-ups, such as, the raccoon suit.
And also with the flute, too, that you can find and warp to the next levels.
Yeah, that I think everybody knew about the flute. I think in this Mario game, too, we had pretty much the largest cast of characters for any Mario title ever. And they were all really interesting characters.
I also like the fact that instead of just going up against Bowser at the end, you also had to defeat his children, the other mini-bosses in the game. And I was kind of wondering, a question popped up, where was Mrs. Bowser at this time? Or did Bowser just asexually reproduce or something?
Yeah, that's a good point. Where is his wife? How did he have these children? That's a good question, but that's gonna get tabled, I think.
Yeah, if anybody has any comment to that question, just leave it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know if you know where the female Bowser is, how he had these children. Moving on to number 5, we have Resident Evil 3 for the PlayStation 1. I think what what definitely, there's a few key points that made this game really stand out for me. One of the top things was decision making in the game. It was one of the first games I can remember where you had to make decisions and they affected how the game would play out. And also, of course, the nemesis just pursuing you through the whole game was just totally awesome.
Yeah, those decision-making points in the game where the nemesis was right in front of you really made the game a lot more intense.
Monsters have overtaken the city.
Yeah, one thing that I never got is Carlos. He was a really badass character, and I think I would have liked to have seen him in some more Resident Evil titles. And really, you never really hear from him again. And he's never really even mentioned again. Except I think in a few Resident Evil, maybe in some documents that you might pick up, but that's about it.
Yeah, and this game really sparked the survival horror genre that we all know and love today.
Absolutely, this game is definitely one of the forefathers to the survival horror genre, and of course zombies. Who doesn't love zombie games? And these are the real zombies too. They aren't these running zombies from like Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead, or even the newer Resident Evil games that they just kept building on the zombies and trying to make them more threatening. Where I believe these are still threatening zombies too.
Absolutely. I mean, you get enough of them around you, they're deadly. That's what makes them deadly, their numbers, not their speed. And I think Resident Evil should definitely, in my opinion, go back to the slower zombies and get rid of these running ones that are like infected with some sort of parasite or something. But moving on, at number 4 we have Grand Theft Auto 3 for the PlayStation 2. This was the first game that I ever played that was free roaming, and it was just super unique. I loved it. You could go anywhere in the city at any time.
I really love the cheats in this too. You don't see many games with cheats nowadays, but this one, to get all weapons or to get your tank to fly, was just awesome.
Yeah, countless hours were spent too running from the police, just getting those 6 stars and holding out for as long as possible. Just hours, literally hours upon hours upon hours of just doing that over and over again. And the missions weren't too bad either. The storyline was great. Rockstar always does a good job no matter what game they're coming out with.
Also, with the radio too, this game was incredibly huge, and just driving around listening to music or the funny talk shows was just totally amusing.
Yeah, the game was definitely rife with comedy. Rockstar tries to do that, I think, with all their games, and they're really well known for that. All their games have some sort of comedy in them, and Grand Theft Auto 3, even today, and Grand Theft Auto 4 now on the Xbox 360 is still referenced on posters and stuff. That's definitely why this game came in at number 4. Just an awesome game. Coming in at number 3, we have Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. For Christmas, I actually got a PlayStation 1 and for Christmas, and this was the first game that I got, and I'm glad I did, because this was definitely one of the greatest games for the PlayStation 1. Just awesome game. I think what stands out in my mind the most is probably the bosses. They're just so memorable. I mean, this game has a ton of memorable moments, but the bosses are what really stand out.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. It took me, I'd say, about 3 hours to actually figure out how to beat Psycho Mantis with switching the controller spots.
Yeah, that was awesome and unique too. I mean, I've never seen anything like that really ever again.
Yeah. Also with the storyline in general, you just cannot beat the storyline that Hideo Kojima came up with, and the whole series of games that came out too followed one another and filled in the spots that were left unanswered.
Absolutely. The storyline is what drove this game to the height of success that it saw back in the day. The game also had a decent length, and the replay value was through the roof. I mean, once you got that stealth camo or the bandana, just that made me want to dive right back into the game after beating it and want to play it all over again.
And also with the good voice acting too, you couldn't go wrong with the cast that they supplied for the game either.
Absolutely not, and that's why Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting the 3 spot on this top 10 countdown. Moving on to number 2, we have Goldeneye 007 for the Nintendo 64. This game was just the perfect movie tie-in. If you're a hardcore gamer, you know that usually when a game is based off of a movie, 9 times out of 10 is going to blow huge monkey balls. But this game followed the movie so well. It was just one of those rare games that just really captured the feel of the movie. It was excellent, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely like the fact that they followed the movie and didn't stray off into some kind of weird storyline that we just absolutely hate. Definitely have to say that the big thing for this game was the multiplayer. Definitely getting together with your friends and just sitting there running around playing either paintball or throwing proximity mines around everywhere and just running around with different characters, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, for all you young kids out there who are in love with COD, you got to give an ode to or a nod to GoldenEye, because this was the real first popular multiplayer first-person shooter, and without it, I don't think we'd have games like COD or Battlefield these days.
No, we wouldn't. And also with the memorable characters too, just running around with Jaws and Oddjob, and I was just
that voodoo fuck.
Yeah, whatever his name was.
I don't remember his name, but we'll just call him Voodoo Fuck.
Yeah, he was in that temple scene?
Yep. But yeah, GoldenEye getting the number 2 spot for definitely obvious reasons. Moving on to number 1, and I'm sure you've all been waiting for it. Number 1 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. I think one of the most memorable things about The Legend of Zelda is definitely going to probably be the temples for most people. They were just really creative how they did them. I loved the puzzles from the temples. They were all very unique, and definitely one of the more standout things of the game.
Also, another really big aspect was the free roam ability, and just to go around and take a break from the storyline and play some mini games and do your side quests. Very big on the mini games as a child and an adult, and also with the side quest of finding the Bigoron sword.
Yeah, speaking of the Bigoron sword, there were a ton of cool, unique weapons in this game. Obviously, one that's going to stand out is obviously the Master Sword, but I think my favorite had to be, the long shot. Just a really unique weapon, and I had tons of fun using it, and it was just one of those unique weapons that you're never going to forget. Another thing that, and I think this is what makes it in my number 1 slot, is just the music of this game is just really relaxing. It has definitely, hands down, one of the best soundtracks in a video game, at least to me, that I can think of. I still enjoy listening to the music to this day. It's just an awesome soundtrack, and it's a soundtrack I'm never going to forget.
Also, had a lot of memorable characters too. What was your favorite character?
I know you're gonna think I'm weird for saying this, but I kind of like the organ grinder that was in the windmill. For some reason, he always really stood out, and I think he taught you the Song of Storms. So I don't know why, but he always stood out as a character that I'll always remember.
I believe my favorite character was the head carpenter. He had quite a funny voice, really, and that just stuck out for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great soundtrack, tons of memorable characters. This game was just awesome. Absolutely. I mean, the weapons, everything about this game just screams, you know, great game, and that's why it made my top 10. That's why I made the number 1. And, you know, this wraps up our top 10 countdown of my favorite childhood games. I want to let everybody know that I hit 300 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that subscribed to me. Let's hope for 300 more. You guys are great. I love you all. This has been the Video Game Viewer. And also, real quick, you know, we got to throw a shout out to Mad Gamer Matt here.
Yep. Take care, everyone.
Again, guys, this has been the Video Game Viewer. Thanks for watching. And as always, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.